Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is of course my daily vlog and this is video number 65. Yet another step closer to the magical 100 days of vlogging. Oh, throat's dry. It's getting late, as you can see by the, where am I pointing? Nearly midnight. Again. So in preparation for this video, the topic of which is finding your purpose. And in preparation for it, it started off as just a bullet point list of practices, things you can do to find your purpose. And then I kind of realized that in trying to identify the steps you would take or practices you would embark on, I suppose, to finding your purpose, they're all part of a process, and doing them forms a process in itself. And I somewhat came to the realization that your purpose, your life purpose, or whatever you want to call it, is a bit of an abstract concept in itself, in that there is no way that life purpose for us as human beings can be factually defined, because we don't know. Simple as that. But there are a few things that you can do that put you in the right direction, at least, to finding a sense of purpose, and that will inevitably help sort of guide you towards being able to contribute to the community, to the greater good, so to speak, because after all, we're all living on the same planet. Everyone's responsible for looking after it. And yeah, okay, a lot of people do take the piss in there, for like deforestation and stuff like that, and overfishing. I'm not going to get into all those details of how planet Earth is essentially being raped of its resources, which I can only imagine that's the only reason why Elon Musk wants to conquer or colonize Mars, so that all of those resources may also in turn be extracted from its belly. So I've got here a list of 6 things, 6 suggestions for starting out on a journey towards finding your purpose. So the first thing to do, actually it's not even, I don't want to say it's the first thing to do, and it's not the first because these are not in a particular order, but as they appear on the page as I've written them down. The first suggestion is to identify the things that you care about, and then apply your skills towards contributing more towards that, if that makes sense. So if you say care about the advancement in, let's go something really scientific here, like stem cell research, then if you've got any skills that can in any way be used to contribute to furthering, is that the right word, to progressing that research or finding an answer, then you should do that. Obviously that's quite a very high level one, in that not anyone's going to be able to conjure up a skill that's directly useful for, say, scientific research. But it doesn't have to be direct, it can be indirect as well, through, let's say, raising awareness. So, yeah, identify things you care about and put your skills towards contributing to that general field or that interest as a whole. Then, number two, number two is to reflect on what matters most to you. So what I mean by that is you have to identify what truly matters to you, not the little petty bullshit, not stuff like paying bills or getting work done on time or replying to a customer, anything like that. I mean, what matters most to you in life, what drives you to want to live family, love, freedom, stuff like that. It's good to have a clearly defined list. It doesn't have to be a list, as long as you have a good picture of what's important to you, and essentially you don't want to sacrifice too many of those things. Yeah, every now and then you have to sacrifice something that's important to you to, for example, pay the bills. You have to sacrifice family time to go and do work to get some money, etc. That's fine, as long as you're working towards that not defining your life. You don't want to be known as the person who worked 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year for 99% of the weeks of your life, because that's not a life well lived. That's a life overworked. Number three is recognize your strengths and talents. Quite simply, that is on the list because too many people focus on what they cannot do, their weaknesses, and they let that define them, which is no good, because what do you do with a weakness? It's not going to help you achieve anything. It's not going to help you work towards or contribute to something. So instead, you should recognize what your strengths are, recognize your talents, focus on those, increase them, work on them, make them more usable to you, more accessible to you, and in turn, it just makes you more capable. Number four is visualize your best possible self. So, yeah, again, this one goes hand in hand with what I've just said about where most people are very good at recognizing their weaknesses. In the same way, a lot of people can very easily visualize themselves failing something because of the fear of the unknown or the fear of fear. People often think about the repercussions of failing something new that they want to try or haven't even tried yet. So if you visualize your best possible self, then it creates a better picture in your mind of what you could be or what you want to be, and that in turn generates a bit of, I suppose, inspiration to work towards it. Number five, or the fifth one on the list, is to cultivate positive emotions. that's to kind of play with universal energy flow. This sounds very voodoo, I know, but the more positive energy you give out, the more positive energy gets returned to you. It's ever wondered why negative people are surrounded by negative people and positive people are surrounded by positive people? Because like attracts like. Opposites do not attract in that respect. Like attracts like. So, like practicing gratitude, for instance, that's a massive positive emotion. Just being thankful for anything and everything that's in your life. One practice that I see recurring in a lot of books is make a list of 10 or 12 things every day that you're thankful for. Well, it doesn't have to be every day, but every once in a while. And just recognize the fact that you are thankful for having those things. It could be anything as little as, I say as little as something as grand as having good health. Compared to some people who spend large chunks of their lives being going in and out of hospitals, be thankful for not having to do that. Number 6, so the last one on this list is look to those that you admire, as in people who have done good, that you admire, be it for causes that you stand behind or things that you believe in, or just someone who's generally done well in their life, in other people's lives, etc. You'll often find that people who are very highly successful, they rarely keep what I'm trying to say, they rarely keep the rewards of their success, so the money they attain, they rarely keep all of it for themselves. A lot of it does get put to good causes. So if you look at a good often used example is of course Bill Gates, the founder and creator of Microsoft. Him and his wife, or his wife and he, whatever the proper terminology is, created the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and they fund charitable work all over the world, and a large proportion of his income goes into funding this charity. So yeah, there are a lot of good examples like that out there. Anyway, so as I was saying at the very beginning, I started planning out this video as a bullet point list, the 6 bullet points I've just gone through, and then I wrote down a few additional thoughts. So these thoughts kind of just cropped up in my head, and I just had to get them down because I found them somewhat confusing, surprising, but also profound, and possibly something that I'm going to look back to one day and realise that maybe I was onto something, maybe I was full of shit, whatever. So the first thing I wrote here, I'll read it out and then I'll try and explain it. So it says, and this is obviously in the context of me having read a lot of books recently, all self-help books help guide you on this path, i.e., finding your purpose. The only difference is that each author has a different story or perspective. So, what I'm saying there is that all self-help books are just trying to help you find your purpose and your position in life, in the universe, and how you contribute to your community, essentially. And obviously every author has his own experiences, his own ways of doing things. They're all trying to put together an infinite puzzle, and each author has his own puzzle, has his or her own puzzle piece that they want to add to the picture. So that's what that means, at least in my head. The next bit I've got here, so it's slightly longer. So personal development, i.e. finding purpose, as a business owner is helpful and important because it can put you in a position of being charitable and contributing to the community or cause that you stand behind. So as I was saying about Bill Gates, for instance, obviously he used essentially business funds to establish a charity that funds more of his income into doing charitable works. So as a business owner, it's not quite a shortcut, but it's one of the faster routes to being in the position where you can, through financing, help support charitable works. And it doesn't just have to be charitable works. It can be scientific research, health programs, anything like that. And so I'm going to say, so that the bit here, there's a missing link. It says that's the reward, i.e. the reward of that journey of finding your purpose is being able to give back, being able to contribute to the community, to the world, to whatever. So that's the reward. It also aids the process of building a business towards success. So it's like a tit for tat kind of thing. So when you develop yourself as a person, you can put those practices into business. It can make you better as a business owner. It can make your business better. And in return, the business will provide essentially the financing for you to, in turn, to become a better person as well. So it's like an endless cycle. Well, endless as far as you keep putting effort and work into it. And then the final thing I wrote here, let me just... The final thing I wrote, and this goes off on a bit of a tangent. Until we understand more about how the world, the universe, and our life force works, the best we can do is to keep striving for purpose, i.e. carry on the journey to find a purpose. And in that striving, we're not just trying to find a single answer, but we're seeking to create an abundance of reasons for being. So rather than just finding one definitive answer for why we are here, that seems silly. Given the variety of people around the world, the variety of skills available and talents available from people, why should everyone be defined by one single purpose? That doesn't make any sense. So it makes more sense for there to be almost, would it be infinite? I don't know if it would be infinite, but maybe as many purpose, as many purposes for being as there are people alive. Yeah. Okay. Well, that my head literally feels like it's on overdrive right now. That did somewhat take a lot of thinking to get that down and explain it. Hopefully, some or all of it, or maybe just one word, made some sense to you, or you found it useful. If none of it made any sense, I apologize. But, like I said at the beginning, this whole idea of us trying to find our purpose in the universe, it is an abstract concept. We're just trying to define it. That's the hard part. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it there. Until tomorrow, this has been me doing my daily vlog, doing some more self-discovery, personal development, finished another book. Yeah. See you tomorrow.